We're committed to constant improvement, both in our processes and how we manufacture the parts, as well as how we actually test the parts. Whenever we have a problem, naturally the first thing that I do is look in the mirror. IAG was founded about 20 years ago. We originally started as a car sales business, buying and selling used cars as a non-franchised used car dealer. The first couple of years we started to focus on certain brands of cars and started selling Subarus mainly. And with the Subaru brand, as we were selling cars and kind of seeing some of those cars back, we started to see some inherent problems with that brand and some of the parts of the cars themselves. So we started focusing in about 2008 or so with solving problems. That sort of snowballed into making parts to solve some of the problems. Things as simple as brackets to hold the floor mats that would slide underneath the pedals, to components of the engine that would actually fail. And then in about 2010, we opened a collision shop. Part of that was by necessity in a sense, because we were reconditioning cars and didn't like some of the other businesses we were dealing with, whether it was a question of quality not being there or the time that it would take them to actually get cars done. So we decided to bring that on in-house. And that's sort of been a reoccurring theme. Every time that we've added capabilities or added parts of the business, it's been primarily because of quality and lead times. So in 2010, we opened the collision shop, and in about 2014, we opened the machine shop and started doing engine machining and different automotive machining, as well as CNC machining, also to make parts to solve problems. Moving into 2020, 2021, we had decided to start working on a different brand of car. We had sort of done what we felt like everything we could do in the Subaru market, owned a fair percentage of the market share and on some of the common products. And engines, of course, we were at the point of manufacturing and selling about 17 or 1,800 engines a year at the time. With some of the ever-changing climate and market, we decided to pick another brand to sort of try to focus on. At that point, we decided to work on some Fords. We bought a Ford Raptor. That was our first sort of experience with Ford. Took a cross-platform, a product that we already were making, which is our air oil separator, and retrofitted it to a Ford Raptor, and we spent about 2 years testing that. As we drove and tested the Raptor, I kind of fell in love with the new Bronco that was coming out, so I decided to buy a Bronco. In driving that, for the first maybe 5 or 6 weeks of driving it, I realized that there was definitely opportunities to fix some of the shortcomings of the way the truck was. We kind of went to work. We started solving some of the problems and some of the things that kind of bothered us about it. But what that meant was that we started manufacturing some parts that required finishing in some way, whether it was anodizing or powder coating, at a much higher volume than what we were used to. We got to a point with our current company that we were outsourcing our powder coat to that we weren't completely thrilled with the quality, but we also were not getting stuff back quickly enough, and we could not keep up with demand. So in February of 2023, we purchased a building in Hanover, Pennsylvania, about 25 minutes away from our main plant. That building is comprised of 2 levels, 60,000 square feet, 30,000 square feet each level. The upstairs is primarily warehousing and is used for fulfillment of all of our off-road brand products. Does a great job of that because it has 29-foot high ceilings, really dense pallet racking. We actually have a special forklift that's designed to go into a very narrow aisle so that we can actually have pretty dense shelving in that space. Currently, we ship about 150 to 200 packages out of that facility every day. The lower level, which is also comprised of about 30,000 square feet, is going to be both fabrication and powder coating. It will be very production line style, where we start at the rear of the building doing operations like laser cutting, both tube and sheet, and then we move to deburring those products, and then we bend them in either a mandrel bender, CNC mandrel bender, or a CNC multi-axis press brake. And then it moves from there to welding, and then from welding to powder coating. And the intention is that the product will start basically in the back of the building, and by the time it makes it to the front of the building, it's complete in a production line style. We essentially don't make products that we can't make better than someone else. And that's both in function and in form, but most importantly in quality. If we can't deliver a better product or higher level product, we simply won't make it. And that's mainly what our investments and our capital expenditures have been focused on, is buying equipment that can manufacture better quality products than our competitors, and really what the industry standard is. The important thing also is partnering with the right companies that supply us with product, both at the level of the mill, all the way down to the steel that we buy, as well as the actual pre-treatment of products before they get finished, and the finishing of the products. We have equipment like an XRF gun that we can actually scan the material itself that's coming from the mill to verify that when we have ordered a certain quality material, that the material itself actually is what we ordered. We do a number of things to test quality on the off-road products. Everything from hardness of the actual material that comes in, the composition of the material itself, that actually breaks down the metallurgy of the material. After the pre-treatment, we have process to actually measure the thickness of the actual pre-treatment that goes on top of the part before it gets coated. And then after the coating process, we can measure both the thickness of the coating itself as well as adhesion by doing things like scratch tests. And then after all of that, we do salt spray testing. That's an ASTM standard that we basically put the products in a controlled environment for a certain length of time. Usually it's 500 hours, 1,000 hours, and 1,500 hours in order to simulate the absolute harshest conditions to verify that the actual coating itself doesn't fail within that period of time. Whenever we have a problem, naturally the first thing that I do is look in the mirror and wonder how we could have avoided that problem or changed a process or changed the quality of a part in order to not have had that problem. It's very important for us to have our finger on the pulse and get feedback from customers and hear from them what their experience has been with our products, both so that we can continue to improve as well as offer the absolute best products available on the market. One of the first products that we sold to the Bronco community was our Easy Lift, which is designed to aid people in both putting the top up and down as well as access the cargo area. And when that product was originally released, we started getting feedback from customers, a small percentage of customers, but we did receive feedback pretty quickly that some customers were having a contact between the Easy Lift struts and their roll bar that's factored in the vehicle. That was on a Friday that the first reports came in, and we immediately started looking objectively at how that could have happened because we had not exhibited the problem on our test vehicles, and had determined that there were some variations in the way that the top itself was mounted to the truck, and that variation or difference in the mounting would affect the clearance between our part and the actual factory vehicle. We went to work immediately, and by Monday afternoon had a solution to solve that problem with revised brackets. And within a couple of days, by Wednesday of that following week, so about 5 days from the initial report of the problem, we had shipped about 1,500 replacement parts to customers. Obviously, it's never easy to admit that we could have overlooked something, but at the end of the day, I could never expect a customer to take anything less than a quality product and something that was to the standard that they both expected and we expected. And so we very quickly acted, owned it, and resolved it all within about 5 days. And the feedback was great from customers. Customer satisfaction is the most important thing to me. I founded this business after having worked in the industry for a few years and kind of seeing what it would take to deliver top quality products and top level customer service. I founded the business and I still work in the business every day. I say many times that I'll probably die within these four walls, and mainly because this is my life. I have committed myself to this industry, and I've been in the industry myself since about '96, and I don't intend on going anywhere. The most important thing is to have repeat business and to have relationships with customers, and you can't do that if you're not willing to make investments in delivering a quality product and also offering high-level customer service. It's the only way that we can improve.